This might partially be a consequence of my ADHD, but I know that this is something that everybody deals with in some capacity. But I've had this experience of wanting to do something and then in the moment not wanting to do it. Either like I want to do something for a long-term goal, and then in the short term, in any given moment, it's just an unpleasant thing to do. I mean, like things like taking out the trash, washing your dishes, etc. I think the way that we tend to conceptualize this problem as a culture is with a concept called willpower, that like you have to have the willpower in that moment to do the thing that you know you should do but don't actually want to do. Personally, my experience has been that thinking about that problem in that way has really led to no positive results. Because like abstractly at least, like how do you decide which version of yourself is right? If like the past version of yourself is telling you to do something and the present version of yourself doesn't want to do it, why is it fair for the past version of yourself to always have the final say? So I've come up with a new way of thinking about this sort of situation that has made my life a lot easier. I think about myself as a variety of different selves, actors, inhabiting the same identity at different times. And having a coherent self that is able to make long-term decisions and do things like cohesively has to do with managing the relationship between your different selves. For example, right, my morning self, the self that I am when I wake up in the morning, doesn't want to have to make the bed, but also wants the room to not have dirty dishes in it from last night. My night self is tired and doesn't want to have to do the dishes, but does want the bed to be made. I think that the framework of willpower would frame this situation as like an obstacle to overcome through sheer brute force of will. Almost in this kind of hierarchical like dominator model where like you're supposed to say that your previous self just gets to decide what your current self does, like just because of their authority. Whereas in my conception, I can think about like my willingness to do the dishes at night and to make the bed in the morning as a deal, as like a mutualistic relationship between the different parts of myself. And so instead of being in a situation where you're like treating yourself like a slave or like an employee, and then subsequently treating yourself like a boss or a master, you as your night self are saying, I'm going to wash the dishes because I know that my morning self is going to appreciate it, and my morning self in return will make the bed for me. And I find that it's a framework that's just a lot more conducive to a kind of productivity that includes a lot of self-love. And I think that the way that that works reveals a lot about the way that hierarchy is sort of indoctrinated into every part of our society and in every part of our world. That we're taught to be complicit in domination even within our own selves.